Hi everyone, I just filmed the process of how I created these ladies and also these orchid girl partially, and so I thought I'll film a quick intro just to explain what you're going to see next. And I have used my Daniel Smith watercolors for these illustrations, which I really enjoyed because I will be talking about this technique quickly, where I just drop in the water and make the watercolor flow a little bit, and that creates that beautiful style or the look that I actually am very happy with. And predominantly, however, I wanted to share with you how to draw these faces because I find it incredibly therapeutic. If you have seen on my Instagram, I uploaded 8 faces and they were super fun to make, and it helps you just to be a bit loose with your technique and not necessarily, just kind of have some fun rather than think about what you're doing. And yeah, so thanks for watching, and I think I will say that again at the end of the video, but anyways, just enjoy the upcoming bits and pieces. See you soon. Sorry for the noise outside, but there is some building works going on. It seems to be a common thing nowadays. Wherever I go, there seems to be building works. Anyway, so I was going to make a video to share the sharpening of the pencil. So apparently when you go to a art school, they teach you not to use those mechanical sharpeners or the regular ones that you get in a stationery shop, but they teach you to sharpen it with a knife, and that's what I have done. So the idea, mine doesn't look as great or as professionally done, but the idea is that you have a very long tip. So basically you need to sharpen it in such a way that the tip is super long and quite sharp. And then what you do is you don't hold the pencil like this, but you hold the pencil like this. And I'm trying to really reset my mind and do it this way, holding the pencil in a more professional way, the way they teach you in art school. So this allows you, and they also say to hold it sort of somewhere around here. The further you go away from the tip as opposed to this gives you more control, and this gives you less control and more free movement. So if you hear some squeaking in the background, that's my son trying to go to sleep. So anyway, this is the way to do it, and I actually really enjoyed it. So yeah, I was going to film it, but I've already done it, and so it's too late now. But basically the way I did it was just holding it and kind of just sort of giving myself lines, and it's a lot softer, a lot more freer than what you would do normally just by having this precision. And the other thing as well, because it's so soft and the watercolor is going to go on top, it won't be that visible, and it's also easier to erase if you need to erase it in places. So I hope this was useful to you and you learned something from that. Obviously, if you're a beginner, you may not have known about this. I have learned about it a while ago and only started doing it just now, and I think it really helps. So I hope it helps you too. Hi everyone. So I just have gone ahead and colored in this orchid, and this is the orchid that I was looking at, or the different, quite a few colors. So they're really beautiful, as you can see. I just tried to do a very loose kind of version of that. I'm trying to develop my own style, and I feel like this is now where I'm really comfortable. This is the style that I really like. So before, well, while it's still drawing, what I'm going to do is eventually I'm going to do the girl out of this, and I'm going to share it with you as well, just so you see how I do it. I always start with the flower first. Then on this side here, this is my last page, and I thought it would be nice to just show you, you know, a few illustrations as I go. And on this side, I will show you how I do some of the faces. So let's go ahead and do this. Okay, so for the face, I'm going to use, I've used Daniel Smith watercolors, just because I've been using a lot of my St. Petersburg White Nights lately, and I just kind of, you know, I don't know what it is, but I have to work a little bit harder to achieve the same look with the Daniel Smith. So anyways, for the faces, it's a really cool technique. I've put a picture up a few days ago, or yesterday maybe, on my Instagram, so go have a look if you want, but I just wanted to share with you how I'm doing it. So for that, I always start with buff titanium, and it's on its own, it's not enough, it comes out a bit too yellow, so I like to mix a touch of pink, and I probably will go into quinacridone magenta just a little bit. This might be too much, so I'll try to take most of it off, and then just kind of touch it, and then wash my brush. And this is a bit too pink, so I would go back in with buff titanium. So that's a good skin tone roughly. Okay, so to do the face, I shall think I'll do it roughly here. I'll do two faces, so I'll do one about here. So you start by just making an oval like that. Add some more water wherever you want. It doesn't have to be that precise. It's a very loose technique, and the great thing is it's not only fun to do, but it helps you to loosen up. So go back into that quinacridone magenta, and then just drop it roughly where the cheeks are, like that. And then I go back in and add some water just to make it flow a little bit more, and you can guide it if you want it a bit more to this side or that side, but the whole point is to not have precision in this technique. Now I'm going to go into my Moon Glow, which is over here, and it's on the swatches right there, and quinacridone magenta. So Moon Glow and quinacridone magenta and buff titanium is what I just used. So Moon Glow is great for eyeshadows, or not eyeshadows, for anything you want to do with it, but I like it because what it does for this technique, after you add some water and then wait for it to dry, it separates the color into beautiful blues and pinks and whatnot. So at the moment you might think it looks a bit weird for a face, but hold on. So I think I might do another one here, and this time I'm going to add a bit more buff titanium and a little bit more of the alizarin crimson, which is here on the swatch and it's here in my palette. So again, it might be too much. No, that's going to be perfect. I'm going back with a clean brush, and that gives me that sort of pinkish skin tone. I think this one I'm going to create slightly lower, and I'm going to, sorry, it's a little bit challenging to hold the phone and kind of look through the phone and paint. It's very difficult, but I'm trying to look at the page, which means I sometimes can move the phone in such a way that you're not probably cutting off So here is the other face, and this time I'm going to go back into alizarin crimson and give her nice cheeks. There we go. I love how watercolor starts flowing. So this time I'm not going to get to add any water. I'm going to leave it as it is, and let's go back into Moonglow. Can you see how different it looks now? Doesn't it just look so interesting? It's amazing. This time I'm going to do Shadow Violet, which is next to it, and here it is on the swatch. It does a similar thing in terms of separating. So let's do it like that. Not as interesting, I find, as Moonglow. And the other thing as well, I bought Moonglow for the reason that it does what it does here. And whenever I would swatch it, you can see here on the swatch, and when you paint with it, it doesn't do the same thing. It only starts separating into these beautiful and interesting colors when you drop water onto it, once you have applied it to the paper when it's still wet. So that's the way to do it. You can see here some separation as well, not as interesting as over here, but still this Shadow Violet is also quite beautiful. So I'm going to let them dry, and then we're going to come back and finish off the faces and the girl, the orchid girl. Okay, so the watercolor has now dried. I have gone ahead and added detail with this pen, Pilot G-Tech C4, just because it actually takes very long time filling in this line work, and I thought I'd rather share with you how I've done the faces rather than showing the whole thing, which would be a too long video. So here, quite quickly again, we went from this orchid, which is quite beautiful, to this. So that's just being creative and trying to, you know, do something different. So I have gone ahead and just added some lines to create an illusion of legs, because I don't want to, basically my flower girls, they're supposed to be all about the flower and then some kind of detailing, bit of a fashion illustration to add, but not to take away from the flower. So hence why I do the rest quite simple and quite often leave it black and white. I do add a bit of color to the face. I have unfortunately messed up here a little bit, just because there was a drop of water that dropped from the brush. So I had to dry it off quickly, so it created a little mess there, but otherwise I just added some lines for hair and some eyelashes, a little bit of makeup. That's the only color that we have here apart from the orchid. And in terms of these girls, the faces, I have gone ahead and created a body, and for a simpler version, just the neck and shoulders. It's very easy, and so let's go ahead and try and paint the faces together. So you may look at it and think, my god, this looks like a mess, you know, how could this look like a face? But what I do is I go ahead and do the hair. So I'm trying to figure out how to do it while I'm filming. So I would go ahead and create a fringe like this, and then I would possibly think of a hairstyle. In this case, I want it to be like a bun. Okay, so you can color the hair in. I'm not going to. I am going to just kind of do a bit of line work and create an illusion of hair just by doing this. Again, you can do whatever you want, because those would be your faces, your dolls. So I'm happy with this. Now in terms of the fringe, I would do the same. I would go ahead and create a hair effect by adding these few lines. You can see how quickly you went from nothing there to a hairdo. So then I like to add ears. I also like to add a little bit of detail there, just a little bit, not much. Next thing I do, I always do the lips first. Now lips have different shapes, so it really doesn't matter. I always like to have a signature, a little mark there, Marilyn Monroe mark. Then I go ahead and create just little holes for nose. I don't like drawing the whole nose at all. I do like when some people do it, but not me. So here I'm going to go ahead and create eyebrows. Now eyebrows are huge. They always are in the beauty and the fashion industry. So I do like to draw them quite strongly. Next thing I'm gonna do is just create an eye. Now as you can see, I'm keeping this pretty loose because these blush marks are sort of going into the eyes, and where there was supposed to be eyeshadows, they're kind of above the eyebrow, kind of moving into the fringe. That is not a problem because you'll see in the end it actually makes it look quite interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and create a little bit more detail on the eye, trying to even it out as much as I can, and that would be it. So for eyes, in the picture that I have uploaded on Instagram, I have added some color to the eyes, which I realized later I did not like, so I'm going to leave it. Now the signature eyelashes, I mean without them it just wouldn't be the same thing. So this is it. And what the last thing I always do is the lips. So I think in this case I'm just going to go for a Pyrrole Red by Daniel Smith. And oops, sorry, I need to look outside of the screen again. Sorry for the noise, I hope you can't hear too much of it. I don't know how much is being picked up on the microphone, but super annoying with all that building noise. So here we go. I leave a little white gap there to again create an illusion of a fuller lip. If I want the bottom lip to be fuller or the top, it all creates a character, gives an interesting touch to the character of the face. Now let's I hope I have enough time to do this other face right here. And so let's go ahead and try and do it. For the fringe, let me thinking what shall I do. I am going to do slightly different fringe this time with a bit of side parting, and I am going to give her the Mickey Mouse hairdo, which I actually quite like on my girls. Now here I'm going to do a spiral for the hair. I think it looks quite cool. Gives it that sort of whimsical kind of feel. And I will go the other way around for this bun. I hope it's all in the right frame and you can see it. Now here for the fringe I will go ahead and create a fringe this way, just like that. Very simple. Now let's start with the lips. We always start with the lips and finish with the lips. There we go. Bit of a nose and eyebrows. I find that if I do the eyebrows, I'm going to give her a bit of a shape to the eyebrow. Oops, sorry. I find that if I give the face, the eyebrows and the lips, it's then easier for me to put the eyes in. I don't know why, but it's just how I've been doing these girls for a while, and there must be a reason why I feel more comfortable, but not sure. Anyway, so this girl, you can compare it to this girl. This one is more sassy immediately. There is a sass going on here because of her emotionless kind of straight eyebrow and sort of I don't care kind of facial expression. To this one is a bit more friendly, I would say. And let's go ahead and create the eye. I kind of feel like I messed up with this eye, but it's not a problem. You can always change the shape by adding a few lines, or I would add, in this case I would have to add now an eyeliner there, and I would do the same thing here now, just to even it out a little bit. And that is it. There is our girl. So if there is some little things like this bit here, it doesn't really bug me. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. Let's go ahead and create these lashes and ears. I have forgotten the ears. I'll give her a smaller and a bigger ear for no reason other than just not being perfect. So in terms of lips, because she has, you can see, kind of made it red and red, and I'm gonna go and create this bright lip by, let's see, I think it was quinacridone magenta. So I'm going to give her that lip here. It would look really beautiful, nice and bright. And I need a bit more water. I'm using a super fine brush for this sort of work, and it says 30. I don't know what that is. Is that 0.3? Sorry. So here we go. A bit more color. It's quite challenging to film it on the phone. For those of you that don't know, I'm on a holiday, and so I don't have my camera, my big camera and tripod with me. So I would leave it like that. I quite like. So this one has a closed mouth. This one looks like she's got an open. Maybe she's trying to say something. So I like that. So that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you soon.